Hello everyone, and a warm welcome to everyone from Visaman UK. So, as we discussed in our last videos, now we'll be looking at actual strategies of finding a Tier 2 sponsoring job. And since this is a topic of great discussion, since this is a very detailed topic, I decided to actually split them up into various parts so that I can elaborate each technique or each strategy in detail. And in this video, which is part 1 of the series, we'll be looking only at the first strategy that I'm going to elaborate to you. And please note that part 2 is going to be extremely important, because part 2 is something that I'm doing a lot of work on, and it will actually focus on some very well researched, precise strategies for refining your job search and looking for these tier 2 employers. Okay, so the first strategy is very basic, and it's very useful, and it is key to your success overall in your professional life, not just for this role. It is simply LinkedIn. Well, LinkedIn is a professional networking and job searching portal, as you know, and it is important, it is critical, because it becomes a source for employers to be able to do some research on you. See, you got to understand that you're not the only people, you're not the only entities doing the researching bit about your employers, about the right sort of role, etc. They have the responsibility of finding the right candidates. They want to find the right candidates. They want to do well in their business. So they're constantly on the lookout as well. So if you apply to a company, they're going to Google your name in, definitely. And then if they don't find anything great, it's not going to be a good first impression. But if they find a nice active LinkedIn profile with all the relevant details, now if they find recommendations by colleagues and past employers, all of your endorsements are going to matter. Everything's going to matter on your LinkedIn profile. It becomes a source of information. It becomes an alternate CV with skill endorsements and referrals for them. So use LinkedIn on a regular basis, at least once or twice a day from today, and keep increasing your connections. There are a lot of open networkers out there, and believe me, your network is gonna be your net worth. Your network is gonna be your net worth. You have to remember that. So please increase your network and be kind and be sociable with everyone, and invite people to connect with you. That will help, because I'm gonna elaborate that to you as well through a couple of specific examples, but keep that in mind. Now, one of the most important tools that LinkedIn offers is its job searching portal. It is a very efficient portal, believe me, because it gives you a chance to apply directly with employers. All of these other job searching portals, a lot of the jobs that you see listed on them actually belong to consultants who hire on behalf of the company. So you actually end up applying to loads of them, and you actually end up attending interviews with consultants first, convince them first, and then you have to actually convince the employers, which isn't a very direct way of doing things. Whereas in LinkedIn, a lot of the times you actually get connected directly to potential employers. So it actually makes the journey easier for you. And also there are a lot of small employers who are able to give you the visa, who are able to sponsor you, who will directly advertise on LinkedIn. They wouldn't spend money on advertising through consultants or advertising on the job market specifically. They find it easier to apply on LinkedIn. And then LinkedIn also offers you some other facilities like a job seeker premium account, etc. I've used them and they do help. So it's very important to make sure that you are visible on LinkedIn, that you have a complete profile, and then you can actually apply to jobs, either using your profile itself or by using specific CVs. I personally prefer applying through specific CVs for specific roles, because obviously, just like everyone else, I also have a multitude of skills, and there are specific roles and specific CVs designated to these roles that I want to apply to. Now, it's also important just to note that you have to be sociable, you have to be kind, active, and diplomatic to be able to successfully use LinkedIn. There are various tools which a lot of people underplay these days, which are endorsements, basically you should have this habit of endorsing people on a regular basis, and then you do get endorsed back. So what happens is the number of endorsements that people see on your profile increases. And although people know that these endorsements are free and anyone can endorse you, it still does highlight the skill sets on your CV, on your profile, and these skill sets get associated with you as a person. Okay? And also, just be very careful and very diplomatic and very nice, and get recommendations from past employers, colleagues, etc. They all help. If somebody's putting a good word in for you, it will stay on the World Wide Web for life. So it will help you in your professional career at every stage of your life. And a long-term strategy would also be to join relevant groups in your field, and contribute to them as and when you find time. Because you also have to remember that LinkedIn groups also have job adverts. So there are experienced people in these groups, managing these groups, etc. And then these people actually post job adverts on a regular basis in a lot of these groups. Now, let's get down to some actual strategies of using LinkedIn the smart way. I'll give you a couple of personal examples where I've personally used LinkedIn successfully. Now, at some point in my career, a few years ago, I faced a situation wherein I was being made redundant from my job. A very terrible situation to face, especially as I was someone who needed a visa. So I got into a bit of a desperation mode, but I had a very strong, a very complete LinkedIn profile which came to my rescue as well. What I was able to do is I actually created a piece of text that this is what my profile is, and I'm actively looking for a job at the moment, etc. I copied it across on a notepad or whatever, and then I sent it to each individual connection of mine personally. It was a very laborious task. It took a lot of time because I have about 10,000 contacts, and obviously a lot of them were not in the UK and they weren't influential, so obviously avoid all of them completely and focus completely on UK contacts and people you might know, you might not know, etc. But I contacted each and every one of them and sent that piece of text to all of them individually. And well, I'll tell you what happened. 90% of the people were actually kind. They tried to help, but they couldn't really help. Obviously, I mean, they also passed the word around, they passed my CV around, but they couldn't really help at the end of the day. But I got a stroke of luck. Can you imagine? I was actually contacted by none other than Google. I mean, this is a company that I used to apply every few months, and I never got even a reply, a confirmation email from them that you have applied to a certain job or whatever else. Nobody took any interest from me. But on this particular occasion, because this was like a senior executive that happened to be in my connection list on LinkedIn, and I happened to send this email to them, and he happened to actually be looking for something similar. He invited me over for an interview. He said, yeah, it looks interesting to me. Come on, let's have a discussion. Let's have a discussion over a pizza and a pint, because I want to keep this a bit informal as well, and let's see how it goes. So I actually got the opportunity of an interview straight away, and it was an interview for a job which wasn't even advertised at that point in time, and they thought, okay, yeah, there's this person who's coming in who looks good enough for the job, we'll try him out. So that was an amazing stroke of luck as well, but it was something that I achieved through LinkedIn. So it was amazing. It was an amazing feeling. It was an amazing experience overall. And then before that, something else had happened in the past, where I was just randomly applying for jobs, completing my profile on LinkedIn, etc., just to try and find out if I get any opportunities better than the one that I had. And I once got directly contacted by a small employer, an employer in a small organization, and they didn't want to spend too much money on advertising with consultants, etc. So they were contacting people through LinkedIn. They found my profile a good match for the job requirements because my profile was complete, and I got they called me up and I got an interview for the same week. And before I knew, attended the interview, actually found that the job was useful, the job was great, and in like half an hour's time, the CEO of that small organization had interviewed me, and he shook hands with me, offered the job in half an hour's time. So I got a brand new job right there. So there you go, another success story for LinkedIn. So in terms of actual action plans, now that we know that the process that LinkedIn actually works, what you could do is you could actually use that sponsorship spreadsheet from the previous video that you've seen on my channel. I'll provide the link for that spreadsheet here as well, and then use that spreadsheet. You know the companies that are able to sponsor you through that spreadsheet. Then use LinkedIn. Hopefully your profile will be active, otherwise there is never, it's never too late to get it activated and start using it. And then use the LinkedIn portal to actually search for the relevant jobs, and on the sidelines start growing your contacts and use them smartly, as I had done on a regular basis, and to my advantage. Okay, so I hope that all that is very helpful for you, and I think that is a very important strategy. And please, if you want to take this video series seriously, you have to follow strategy number 1 as well, because it ties in with the next one as well. So start using LinkedIn, get active on it. And it's also important to note that the next video, once again, is something that I'm currently working on, and it's got a geographical spread of various competencies all over the UK, so where to apply and how to apply smartly, and it's got all of that, and I'm doing a lot of work on it. So hopefully it'll turn out to be a very good video, and hopefully you get a chance to watch it. So thank you once again for watching and supporting this channel, watching videos, and keep watching, keep spreading the word, and keep supporting the channel, and I'll be able to churn out content on a regular basis. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like this video. Thank you very much for your time. All the best.